Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. And this one is going to be a little bit later in time than some of the other games that I have been casting of late. This is actually a Pro League match from 2012, so kind of later than usual. I've been doing a lot of games from the early 2000s. 2012 is a little bit different than normal, but this is going to be a match between Grape and Ryul, and this is a Grape that we see on the screen right now. This is just kind of a random Pro League game. Grape playing for the team Samsung Con, and this is Ryul. And by the way, I just gotta point out that for this league, they all got to pick their own like intro songs, and this is IU. The song name is Boo. You can see down there. This is Ryul. Look at this, 0-0-0. He's got no stats available because this is his first ever Pro League game. But this man right here, Ryul. I just was watching Artosis' stream earlier today, and he was saying that he thinks that Ryul is the greatest of all time. Yes, I'm not making it up, because this was paid in 2012 in the age of StarCraft 1, and we're going to get into the game right here. It's Zerg versus Protoss. The player named Ryul, who was a really low-level player in StarCraft 1. This was his first Pro League game. He only ever played three public games in StarCraft 1. I don't think he never even qualified for an OSL or an MSL. I just played a couple games in the Pro League. And this is Grape as the Protoss, by the way. And here is Ryul. So this is in 2012, as I said, kind of just a B-teamer that didn't really go anywhere. And 4 years later, he would begin winning major StarCraft 2 tournaments, up to and including the last GSL under the name Rogue. The player who Artosis claimed is the greatest of all time in StarCraft 2 in his first ever publicized esports game, playing Zerg versus Protoss in Brood War. Yes, of course, almost most of the better StarCraft 2 players were actually like StarCraft 1 B-teamers. And at least in the early days, I haven't actually seen a ton of the more recent, I basically haven't followed StarCraft 2 since, hey, got a white person in the audience. They always have to show the white person in the audience on camera, by the way, if they're in the studio there. It's almost a requirement, it seems. But in any case, yes, so a lot of the, I haven't kept up with StarCraft 2 since Heart of the Swarm basically was released, so could be wrong in the last 4 or 5 years. Things might have changed, but in general, in StarCraft 2, at least for the first 3 years, all of the best players were StarCraft 1 B-teamers basically. All of the early winners were StarCraft 1 practice partners or people that weren't that great. But so in any case, this is Ryul's first ever publicized game, back playing StarCraft 1 for the team Hwaseong Oz, if I remember correctly. And so he was on Jaedong's team. And we do have this Protoss fast expansion going down. It's a little bit of a wide choke, but it's not impossible to block off, so it's going to probably be successful there. And there's the coach I recognize him as a coach. I don't remember which coach he is. Okay, well, there's the Samsung coach. That must have been the Hwaseong coach then. And notice I said Hwaseong. At this point in time, they had changed their name. They used to be Lycaf Oz. And by 2012, they changed it. I think it was like 2010. They changed their name to Hwaseong. It's just, a different sponsor, basically. Lycaf is a clothing brand. I do not know what Hwaseong is, actually. I'm not sure what kind of company they are. I'll try and look it up on the side. Automotive. It's an automotive company, apparently. Today I learned. But in any case, so yeah, Grape is going to be the Protoss player, and he is also another player who was not, super like successful or anything like that. He was, someone who got into a couple Star Leagues, I believe. Actually, I'm gonna double check that on the side here while I'm looking at this game. I checked it earlier, but I've already forgotten. And that's kind of the kind of player that Grape was. That He wasn't really a player that you remembered too well. I actually remember the name, so I think I've seen a fair amount of him. But he was just not really anyone that was super impressive. Okay, yeah, I'm looking up. He was actually in a couple Star Leagues. He got a little bit far in the Star Leagues. Or not a little bit far into them, but he got into the Star Leagues. It looks like he got out in the first round of the OSL of this year, got out in the first round of the MSL, had the misfortune of playing Jaedong in 2011. So, in any case, so Grape, decent player. Point what I'm saying here, basically. And at this point in time, like I said, Ryul never really got too far, but he's an unknown entity at this point in time. So we'll have to see what he's capable of. And there is the man himself, Lee Jae-dong, who has just gone into the military, probably ending his esports career. I don't know. Sometimes you do actually. We've seen some players. That probe is still alive, by the way. I just want to mention this. That probe is still alive, running around inside the base. Not getting too much scouting information, but getting some, and finally dies. And at this point, though, Grape has his expansion up and is up and running. Second gas going strong, starting to get a Stargate tech out. But Ryul has gotten. I'm going to go ahead and call him Ryul instead of Rogue because he is still Ryul in this game. Is what he was known as. And I don't know if it's intentional, by the way, or just a coincidence, but Ryul is actually similar to what you would call his middle name, I suppose. If you don't know, in Korea, you say the surname, or what you call in America the last name, first. So like Lee Jae-dong is E, or Lee is his, what you would call last name, his surname. And hold that thought, we got a Zealot coming into this expansion here, doing some harassment, gets a couple hits on the drones, but they are pulled off. He's going to step back into this cheeky little gap and actually come back out again. And, oh, the drones do a really good job of stopping and messing up the movement of the Zealot, and so he actually loses very little in that exchange. Ryul does. But anyway, so yeah, at the top I can read that Ryul's name is Lee Byung-yul, and so Yul is actually his, like, what you would call middle name. And it's not uncommon for pro gamers to use part of their real name as their gamer tag. So, like Jaedong, for example. Or Flash. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Flash is actually his real name because his parents were comic book fans and they wanted to name him after the fastest super... Okay, that I'm just making that up. In any case, let's get back to the game. So, we have a Corsair out just doing some harassment, a couple Corsairs now, and Ryul has basically taken no significant damage. He hasn't had to build almost any defenses, so there's been very little pressure. I mean, we did see the very early expansion for Grape, so he didn't really need to do much, but oftentimes you see Proleague players try and push out with some. And actually, he's got an Overlord speed upgrade in order to come in here and get his scout. Sees the Templar archives, sees the gateways going up, sees everything. It's too late. He's seen everything. And very nice. And he's gonna actually even spot a Robo in the natural. And he's probably going to escape with that Overlord alive as well. Even doubling back to see if he can get... Well, actually, the Corsairs are going to have another thing to say about that. Even doubling back just to make sure that, like, the Templar archives wasn't canceled or something crazy like that. And we're seeing looks like multiple hatcheries going down. He's up to 5 hatcheries, and we're getting a lot of Hydralisks being pumped out here. This is pretty standard here. He's just going to be able to pick away at that wall. The Zealots can't really engage directly, and so the Hydralisks just get free building kills, essentially. And he's going to power those down very quickly, and the Zealots are going to try and save their +1 weapons upgrade by moving out there. And the Forge is still spinning. The gateway goes down. Is he going to be able to save the weapons? It looks like he's no, he's not target firing down the Forge. And +1 weapons completes. Oh wow, that Forge has like 100 hit points left, and he he actually pushed out with the Zealots and took some damage on his Zealots in order to save the Forge. If he had waited just a moment there, the Forge would have gone down just seconds before the upgrade was completed. So a nice little push out here by Grape, but he's probably going to lose these Zealots. He's going to go and try and do some harassment with them, though, and that's going to buy him time, which is, you know, the most important thing for him at the moment, because he was facing pressure of these Hydralisks on his front door. he didn't want to keep facing that pressure, and so instead he's kind of moving around the map with these zealots. Another bit of Korean cultural trivia for you, by the way. I don't know if you can tell on this VOD, but this map is called Sniper Ridge, and you can kind of see that it's actually shaped like a swastika. But before you get too upset about that, in Korea, the swastika is actually an ancient symbol for Buddhism, and so it's often, oh, and he's actually going to spot that shuttle going out, which has a couple Dark Templar on it, by the way. So if you ever look at like tourist maps or something like that, they actually have swastikas as like locations on the maps, showing you where the Buddhist temples are that you can visit, stuff like that. So it's not as bad of a thing as you might think if you were noticing that on this map. Basically, if you happen to notice that on the mini map, it's not that bad. Anyway, so he's spotted this drop coming in, and is he going to drop some lurkers back here as well? Overlord's going into 2 different locations, and there are lurkers inside of it. Nicely done. This storm goes right down on top of it. Second storm is going to polish it off. There's another couple lurkers in the main, though. There's nothing in the main. All of his defense stood at the natural. He's going to pull the probes away. Ooh, he gets a couple probe kills before they're able to get away there, though. And he comes in here with an observer. It's going to be able to take out those lurkers. Very little damage done, actually. I mean, he lost 2 or 3 probes and maybe 1 zealot in exchange for 3 lurkers, and I think he might have killed the overlords as well. So very good damage here. Damage to the forces. Oh no, if he loses the shuttle, it's going to be huge. He loses the shuttle. Oh no. Grape loses the shuttle. You can kind of see that the look on his face was like, oh crap, was going through his mind right there. Because that was, oh man, any gains that he got from killing off those lurkers with minimal damage, he just lost with the shuttle, and I think there was 2 Dark Templar inside it as well. One of them obviously popped out, but it died immediately after it got unloaded, because the Overlord and the Hydralisk were right there. Anyway, and here comes some zealots into this 3rd base. I think those are the same zealots that ran around earlier. So is again just going to play brilliantly here, and is going to be right on top of things, gets the drones out before they take any damage, and is going to bring in the Hydralisk to send those zealots packing as well. Oh, there's still 1 zealot in there. I didn't see that 1 zealot got left behind. It's going to get a few kills, a couple drones, and a couple zerglings, it looks like, so not bad damage, but we haven't seen any huge engagements. There's been no major swings yet in this game. Both players have had relatively untouched economies and relatively untouched armies, and are we going to see their first real engagement? A nice storm is going to force those Hydras back a little bit, but it's almost, I mean, that's what he's trying to do right now, is bait out the storms. There's a lot of observers in the air, so he's not going to have any problem with these lurkers, I don't think, with a lot of dragoons as well. It's just going to come, oh, those Hydras stand in the storm for a minute, loses several Hydralisks, ooh, and takes damage on that lurker as well, and now he's going in, and he's just using, wow, beautiful storms. Is he going to get both those lurkers? No, just one of them. It was not quite within range of the other one, but he's pushing in. He says, are you out of storms yet? Let's find out. If not, you're going to take some damage to your army. And he's just kind of dancing it out. And they're both trying to, you saw him send in the zealot to take the hits from the lurkers so he could get out there with the storm. Same thing, he sends in the zerglings to take some hits, while he moves in with Hydralisk to try and do some damage to those dragoons, because he knows the dragoons are going to kill his lurkers, and he's having to fall back out of that storm again. Just a lot of just I don't even know. It's like a seesaw is like not quite tense enough, but it's just like back and forth here. Both players just teasing each other and trying to poke back and forth, but a full-scale assault by one or the other could pop out at any moment. And look at this. This Overlord speed is just really paying off for him. Is he going to pick off another shuttle? He's going to get another shuttle. It can't escape. It goes down. Oh, no. Grape loses another shuttle, and I don't know what was in there, and Jaedong's even laughing at that before he gets caught on camera with it. Some Corsairs are moving out here, just trying to do some harassment, doing a little bit of damage on the Overlords. And the other, meanwhile, an engagement does happen in the middle. He pushes out a little bit. Storm's going down. Oh, slaughtering a ton of units. Just pools of blood piling up on the middle of this map. Where these storms are going off. The Overlords are actually having to go to the front lines where it's safer. Another storm going off, doing a lot of damage. But is it going to be enough? The Hydral's now pushing in, doing damage to those Dragoons. If he can pick off a couple more Dragoons, then the Lurkers will reign supreme. And it looks like slowly and steadily he's actually been picking off those Corsairs. Oh, the damaged Overlords staying within range of the Dragoons. A couple of them go down as well. He's got plenty of Overlords in the air, though. He's not supply blocked or anything like that. So Still looking okay for Ryul, and it looks like he's trying to push out, but look at this. He's just stuck in his base, though. Grape is just completely stuck in his base. He's been contained by the Zerg, who's getting a top right fourth base as well, while he's stuck at 2, and he's just desperately been trying to push out, but this monster contained on this wide ramp, and it's just, I mean, this is one of the interesting mechanics of this map I didn't get a chance to talk about, but there's these long ramps. That's what make up the legs of the swastika, are these long, wide ramps. It's called Sniper Ridge, but the emphasis is on ridge because there's these ridges here, and that actually means that those lurkers have the high ground. So that means if the Dragoons try and push out where they are, they're going to miss shots aiming up to the high ground there, which is not a good situation at all. Looks like he's still trying to poke out there, but he's going to get lurkers dropped in the back of his base at the same time. Does he see it? He doesn't see it. The lurkers are burrowing. He doesn't see it. He needs to pull his... Oh no, he needs to pull his probes. How is he not seeing this? So many probes are dying. 6 kills on that one lurker. It's up to 7 now. He's slaughtering the entire probe line. Grape, what are you doing? Grape, oh no. He loses his entire main base supply line, and looks like he's pushed out far enough that he can try and start to assault those lurkers with his Dragoons, but it doesn't matter. He's lost everything in the main, and he's even going to try and drop one lurker into the natural as well. Oh no, he is going to get it. Oh, and now he can't pull those probes anywhere. He can't pull them into the main because... And I think he needs to keep his observer at the front. Oh no, this is just catastrophic. Absolutely catastrophic. And you know, Ryul is the unknown player here that has never been on camera before, and Grape has a little bit more experience, but this is sloppy. That is something that you never see programmers let lurkers last that long in their base. It's usually one swipe with the lurker spines will be all that goes unnoticed before they pull the probes away. Anyway, here he's trying to push out. This is a desperate last-ditch attempt, I think, and he knows he doesn't have the forces for it. And Ryul is super excited. He can't get out of his booth, but he finally does. Super excited. First time on stage, and he wins his first ever game of competitive StarCraft, or not even competitive StarCraft, but his first ever game of tournament StarCraft, going down and giving some high fives, doing a little dance as well, and he deserves it. And man, if only he knew at this point in time, he's just this budding young esports player. You know, he was born in like 1994 or something like that, so at this point in time he's what is this, 2012? So yeah, I guess he's 18, so he's not like that young, but he's pretty young, and little does he know that like he's gonna win like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars playing video games in just 4 or 5 years' time. He's gonna start winning lots and lots of tournaments, and then become basically the most successful StarCraft 2 player ever, according to Artosis, of course, who I definitely trust more than my own opinion because I have not been following that recently. But anyway, if you're interested though, you can go back and watch the VOD of his stream, and there's a whole debate. Lots of people bring up different opinions in his chat, and he was talking about different possibilities and stuff. But I tuned in halfway through and sort of towards the end-ish, and it sounded like he felt pretty conclusive about it, that he was right about Rogue's status as you know, maybe not the best player ever, but the most accomplished player ever. You know, so anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that, and yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and GG, see you next time. And fair warning, by the way, I probably am gonna nurse one more game out of this sort of joke of Rogue having been Ryul back in the day. But hope you guys enjoyed it though. Got a couple other random Proleague games that I think are going to be interesting coming up too. And then next week we're going to get into a brand new OSL. And again, let me know if you have any ideas about which OSL you want to see from the early 2000s. And we're going to do the whole OSL and then live cast the finals again, because I think I just got a lot of positive feedback that people really enjoyed the live event aspect of doing the FOSL fake live finals that we did a couple weeks ago. And I had a lot of fun doing it too. It was really great to have like a bunch of people in the chat talking about StarCraft together, and I've really felt like the good old days sort of good old days of, watching low quality pirated streams together and casting from my car or whatever. So we're going to try and do that again, but I think it'll be cool to do the entire OSL leading up to the finals too. So we'll have a lot more context knowing what the players have gone through to get to those finals, whoever ends up being. So, all right. So that's it. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. GG.